What up, vlog fam? Welcome to day 3. Day 3? Day 4?
Day 4, day 3 of the real tour. Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday, but we went out
Day 4
Sunday.
of our exploration.
Yeah.
We went to
Caesarea,
Caesarea.
or as they like to say, Caesarea.
They say everything weird.
Yeah. Caesarea. We said,
Isaiah.
yeah.
Obadiah. Anyway. Weird stuff. They say it, but we probably say it wrong. We're the wrong ones. But,
Oh my God.
I mean, that's the truth. But it was so pretty. It was at the Mediterranean Sea. It was the place that Herod the Great had built his palace. And he built it, like, out in the sea. Like, did what no one has ever done before. And, like, made a port that was not natural.
Yeah. Made a port. Figured out some way to get the lava rock around to sink down to make a base and have a port for ships to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was pretty creative.
Yeah. Yeah, what he had done was really, really cool. If you can hear in the background, there is like the protests going on in Israel, and we're in downtown Jerusalem right now, and it is like right outside our hotel.
I don't know what.
There.
Yeah, that's a celebration.
Well, yeah, because they love their country,
Okay.
I think.
I have no idea. It's just noisy.
Yeah. But Caesarea was, so the Mediterranean Sea is the most blue water I've ever seen in my entire life. It was fascinating. It was so beautiful. I was absolutely captivated by that.
It was clear.
It was so blue. It was so blue. It was so pretty.
Actually had about 2 or 3 colors.
Yeah.
Sort
It's
of
like
aqua,
aqua,
and then moved
teal,
to blue.
Darker blue. So pretty. I like couldn't get over it.
I was just fascinated by the whole city. I mean, when you look at probably not a lot of necessarily Bible things necessarily happened, except he talked about Paul probably being held in prison there.
I mean, that's the whole New Testament.
Yeah. But he didn't write anything there. He probably had some sort of, what he was bringing up, some sort of impact. Could have been where, when he asked to be taken back to Rome, that's where they, potentially held him before they put him on a boat at the end of Acts, and he winds up at the Isle of Malta. I mean, so that stuff was, that's interesting, and it was just fascinating to see the architecture, all the things that were there. I mean, it truly was a metropolis, and a center for just also. You had a theater that. It always blows my mind about those theaters. You can talk normal, and you can hear. It wasn't, and one of the guys in our group actually called it an amphitheater, and our leader quickly corrected him, said, no, it's just a theater. He says, so what's the difference? And I think most of us, probably in the United States, think amphitheaters are just outdoor venues. But he said, for them, an amphitheater was a circle. And this was just...
So it would have been like the Coliseum type thing.
Was a moon shape, a fan shape. And so, but there were some people setting up as we were just sitting there talking. I could hear we sang. So stuff like that. And then the Hippodrome, that was pretty cool to me.
This place that we were at was the town that Cornelius and his whole family came to the Lord at.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge. And so they were talking about how Paul was probably in prison there for 2 years. And during that time, Philip and Felix were the ones like running back and forth, bringing people from the city like to Paul in the jail, and like he was doing ministry within the jail for 2 years. And our tour guide was just asking us like, you know, what would your reaction have been if you would like were doing all this stuff for the Lord, and then like you're put in jail for 2 years, like 2 years of your life gone in that jail cell. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just how they set everything up. I mean, when you looked at, it's the location where when you read about Herod, you know, giving the speech, and not giving God any credit, and God striking him at that moment where he gets sick and begins to be eaten by worms from the inside out, goes back to this palace that's on the water to die. I mean, and that's a pretty strong judgment, you know, by God. But again, somebody who didn't love the Lord, he didn't really have anything positive to say about the Lord. I mean, he's the same guy that had his own wife arrested and killed because she was plotting against him. And you know, when you really study it, I don't know so much if she was plotting against him, except maybe for the fact that she thought because he fought or was a part of or was allies when the Romans split or were in this somewhat type of civil war, who's going to gain power, he actually was on the losing side. And her thinking that because of that, and him being called to the new emperor, to the new Caesar, you know, he probably wouldn't live. But to have her when he got back, knowing that she'd been trying to train the sons and get them prepared and sort of set some things up, had her arrested and killed. That's pretty strong. And then he, as they got older, because of their hatred toward their father, his 2 sons eventually get arrested for plotting to kill him. And he sends them off to Caesar to I mean, he had issues. I mean, and you know, he was selfish. He was only interested in himself. That's strong. I mean, strong words about his person and his character to me.
Yeah, he was kind of nuts. But you had to be nuts to be able to do the things he did at the same time. Like, that place wasn't going to get built. That place wasn't even going to be imagined had he not done that. And that's because he was kind of crazy.
Well, but it was, again, it was about him. It was about keeping himself alive. To do that, you got to elevate Caesar. And so
he had no mercy towards the people that were doing it either.
Right.
He was like, I don't care. Figure it out. Make it happen. Better work.
Thus the name, as we say it, Caesarea, is why he named it after Caesar, so that he would know, and it became one of the major ports in the area. So I mean, to me, it was a very historical place that had some biblical things that happened there.
It wasn't life-changing.
No, but not like Capernaum, where you had a ton of stuff that took place, and so
it was beautiful. I was obsessed with the Sea of Galilee, and the beauty of this place was insane.
It was nice. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen water as clear to me as that. So
it was really pretty. But then we came to Jerusalem, and Jerusalem is truly a city on a hill. It is hilly, and it is up there. And we learned that whether you're in it doesn't matter if you're coming from the north, south, east, west, whatever. Everyone says like we're going up to Jerusalem, not like I'm going down to Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is on a hill. And so that has been very evident, especially walking through it tonight. Like, calves are burning, it's on a hill. But we got to go down and see the old city. Nehemiah built the wall. Like, that is the coolest thing. Like, this man is cupbearer for the king and gets word that his people are hurt because the wall, it needs to be built.
Yeah.
And they need to be protected. And he's sad. Like, I love that story of the king being like, why does your face look so downcast? Like, this isn't normally you. And only because he had a relationship with the king, because of his lowly status as cupbearer, was he able to tell the king, like, why shouldn't I be sad? This is happening to my people.
Right.
And the king is like, well, what do you need? And he's like, I need to go build this wall. And the king's like, do whatever it takes, basically. All because of, like, and then he goes and does this historic thing that makes the biggest impact for his people. Why? Because he had the lowly position of being cupbearer. Like, what's your cupbearer story? Awesome. He built that wall. Nehemiah, the Lord has just used Nehemiah in my life a lot. So when I get to that wall, I was like, I kind of freaked out when I was like, he was like, I was like, what wall, whatever. And he's like, he was like, that Nehemiah built. I was like, Nehemiah built this wall?
Well, it's cool to see because it begins to put into perspective what a daunting task that was for them. I mean,
big wall.
As we drove in, you see modern things, building hotels or building buildings, and they got these big cranes that are reaching down, getting these supplies and moving around. And, you know, Nehemiah didn't have cranes. And they figured out how to build. I mean, these walls are got to be 30, 50 feet tall, and it's block on block, and they're thick. You begin to see these different, I call them watchtowers, is what I think they are. Of course, we walked into the gate that leads to Jaffa, as they call it, and, you know, all these different entrances that you could have to get into the city. We didn't even walk all the way around that part, but it just put it into perspective how many different, it wasn't just one watchman. You had several individuals being watchmen. And to think about that, then right below, as we see down in the city now, which is mainly just businesses, shops type things, you begin to understand what it would be like when he talks about you build your section of the wall where you live, and you can sort of tell those shops would probably have been somewhat the way you'd picture some of those homes, maybe, and even in there, even tighter than those shops in different ways. But you could get a lot of things in there, but you're responsible for this section of the wall. That's what puts in perspective just a huge task and undertaking that he took, and the protection it brings. I mean, you think about.
Yeah, you couldn't climb up it. There was no hand grips. It was tall.
Yeah.
You weren't climbing up that thing.
Now, you'd had to have a rope, but that's, again, why the watchman. And you could shut the gate doors. And, I mean, that's the weak point. The gates were the weak.
I surely wasn't climbing up it.
Yeah. But it was, I mean, that just shows you how fortified, especially, and then if you had water, I mean, the two things, food and water, you know, I don't know how much things grew inside, but now you sort of understand why they were able to withstand sometimes attacks because of this wall, and what protection and really how big it potentially could be.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
You can still see like the just details of it. It was really cool. So that was our day. We kind of had a slow day.
A little slower because it was a long trip.
Yeah, it was. It's like a 2-hour drive from Galilee to Jerusalem. So a travel day.
Jesus walked.
Bless his heart and bless those feet. No wonder they had to be washed, first of all. Second of all, in sandals? They were probably bloody. They had to have had calluses like no other.
Yeah, I didn't really think about the callus part, but I mean, it is I mean,
They had to have.
you're talking about the way we came, of course, probably cutting through cross country. You're going to cut some, but I mean, at one point we were 62, 63 kilometers. Everything over here is kilometers. So that's probably what 70, 60 kilometers. I think it's about 75 miles, maybe roughly. But that's how far you're going from Capernaum up here to Jerusalem. I mean, and there, for us, there was two ways in which our guide has said along the coast, along the Sea of Galilee, is the longest highway that's in Israel. It pretty much goes from one end to the next. So you can come down through, and then, which would make you come through, I looked on a map, it makes you come through Jericho to get to, if you came down straight down the coast and then across to Jerusalem. So yeah, to me this wasn't, man, when people outside decide when we're going to Jerusalem, it just wasn't an overnight trip.
Yeah.
I mean, you're traveling, we'll just say 50 to 60 miles
Minimum.
over several mountains or hills to
Yeah, it was
get
crazy.
here.
Yeah.
So I mean,
By foot or donkey.
Yeah.
Bless them.
so I'm
And
assuming-
sandals.
Sure.
They didn't have on clouds, hokas, nothing like that. They didn't. Their feet, I'm telling you, they had to have calluses like crazy.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out I don't know, could you walk 30 miles? 30 miles. I wasn't thinking of that at all. I was thinking maybe they walk 30 miles a day. You know, I know you could probably figure up how fast an individual walks, how many miles, but I would think it'd take them 2 to 3 days, solid, hard days to get
Hard days.
from Tiberias and Capernaum area, Sea of Galilee area, that region, Caesarea Philippi that we came
I don't know
to
if you
Jerusalem.
say you could even get 30 miles.
I just don't know. I mean, you'd have to, if you walked 8 hours, I think you can walk a mile, can't you?
I don't know, but I think that's a stretch.
You can run a mile, so 25 miles in 4 hours. Isn't that a marathon runner?
I don't know. I'm not a runner. It would be a long time, and it would be a really hard walk. And
Yeah, I think it'd be
Jerusalem is like up there.
Yeah.
It's all rocky too, and they weren't just like moved over to the side.
No, I mean that's what I said, tough walk. So I mean,
Yeah. That'd be tough.
So you're talking to come and to go back. You're taking a week or so out of your life to come to Jerusalem. So you begin to see and understand how significant it was for people to come to Jerusalem and why the rules are. What was it? 3 times a year that you were supposed to come to Jerusalem to offer sacrifices, and 1 time a year you were supposed to offer was the Day of Atonement, that you're coming in.
Gosh, and those little animals
And while you're coming, and you're
had to
traveling
walk all that way
to die.
just to die.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I mean, you see the significance
praise
and
Jesus for
just
coming.
and the hard stuff. So
Yeah, it was nice.
that's some things that came out of today.
Some
Quote
practical.
slow day.
It's rocky. It is rocky. It's not the green pastures we've seen. It's really rocky.
Yep.
But we're excited to get to see. We're gonna see a lot of stuff tomorrow. It's gonna be awesome, and we're probably gonna go shopping again in Old Jerusalem. I got a scarf.
Oh my goodness!
I got a scarf
Yeah.
for $5.
And trying to keep her out of the old Jerusalem. That's what we're trying to
Well,
do.
all those guys kept asking me to come in and shop.
Yeah.
And I kept saying yes.
No, I'm saying it's time to eat. We're going back to the We're going back to the motel. So
It's got little camels on it. It's adorable. One of the girls on our group got the same one as me. It's awesome. So,
I did not.
yeah,
so.
we're gonna get his tomorrow. All right. Well, that is in the vlog day 4. Thanks for hanging with us.